Hey guys, FPS Gaming. Welcome back to a new video. Today we're going to be talking about the new Lost Legacy trailer and what it's got in store for us. And I'll tell you, it's quite surprising, some of the stuff that they've put in the game. And let's get right into the video. So at first we see Chloe by herself in what looks like to be a tower or an outpost, and it views all three areas she has to go to and explore to find the objects, to find the Tusk of Ganesh, it seems. And when you look at it, you see that she's got quite a lot of freedom in her choices, so she can go to 3 outpost areas. So one would hold an axe, for example, that she goes to this time. And apparently it's going to be very open, this particular level, and it's pretty much the biggest level we've ever had in a Naughty Dog game. The next thing we see is her open a map, and this is very interesting because if you look at it, you see the tower that she's at, that she's crossed out because she's visited it, and now you have a choice between 3 locations, and there's also optional areas to go, so it looks like a very open map. Way more open than I imagined, in fact. And if we look at the level in Madagascar in Uncharted 4, it was nowhere near as large as this. In fact, this looks like 4 to 5 times as big, judging from the way it's been built. And you can also see a question mark. Now, that leaves me to think that maybe we can explore an optional area like Tomb Raider, where you get optional tombs to go to, so maybe they're getting some ideas from Tomb Raider in that sense, but we'll have to see it in the full game. Now next off we see Nadine and Chloe reunite in the car, and yes, the Jeep is returning, which is gonna let us drive fast to these open areas, which is gonna be interesting to see put back. And for all we know, they may have improved it in some ways, but when I see the way you see it in the gameplay, it looks like it's just going to be the same, which is good because the gameplay was solid on the Jeep. Next off, we see them encounter some enemies, and what the interesting thing about it is when Chloe encounters an enemy and decides to take them down with a stealth attack, the animation is different to Nathan's, and they said about this earlier I think in the first gameplay demo, in fact, that they've reanimated the gameplay especially for Chloe to show that she's more precise with her melee, unlike Drake, who's more of an improviser with his combat. Now we also see a bit of lockpicking again, and we saw that in the first trailer, but it looks like it's going to be quite a big useful feature and isn't just going to be in a few levels, which is interesting. And when she opens the chest, she gets a silenced pistol, and they're returning after the last time we saw them was in Uncharted 3, and it seems to be very similar to how they were in Uncharted 3 in those levels. And it also seems to give a more varied approach to stealth, which is going to be really interesting to see in the game, and it looks amazingly well done in this game to give more options, unlike Uncharted 4. Now here you can see Chloe doing a mid-air takedown on an enemy, just like in Uncharted 4 back in 2014 reveal trailer, and it's also been reanimated, which is interesting because it shows all the small details that Naughty Dog put in this game and put a lot of effort into making this a good experience. Now next up we see Chloe find a secret area where she finds this interesting looking treasure, and when I read about it, it seems that they're more secretive to find and take a lot more time to find rather than an ordinary treasure which you can find more easily. So it'll be interesting to see how that's implemented in the gameplay. Then we see the map again, and if you look at the red arrow on the top of the map, you can see that's where we are in the location. Now next up, they start to drive along, and then Nadine starts talking about her past with Asav the villain very subtly, after of course Chloe prompts her to tell her about it, but she seemed very reluctant to tell her about it, which shows probably there's going to be a lot more story depth between those two characters, and it'll be interesting to see how they use the direction in that point of the game. Now, next up, a feature that I found very interesting is that once Chloe goes underwater in a cave, you notice that she can hold her breath a lot longer, and that's a very interesting detail to show that she's much more athletic and can handle holding her breath a lot longer than Nathan Drake, and that's very interesting to see. Now next up we see this gadget return that helps us climb up walls and stuff, which is good and nice to see return. Not much else to say about that, but we saw a little bit of it in the demo. Now we get another combat encounter, and this time she goes a bit more guns blazing, and we can see the combat is pretty much the same as Uncharted 4, which isn't a bad thing because the gameplay was pretty solid in Uncharted 4, I believe, so it's nice to see they haven't changed it too much and it still stays familiar. Then right before the demo ends, we see her go through another temple, and this time we see a bit of a puzzle, it looks like, and then she activates it by pulling a lever and then going on a pressure plate, and then the demo ends. And that's pretty much it, guys. Tell me what you think about the new gameplay demo of The Lost Legacy. Tell me if you're gonna get it or not. Anyway guys, thank you all for watching, and please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.